Music don't win parade. Costuming is win parade. If you hang around Junkanoo enough, you will hear this debate, and as much as musicians love to argue the point, the split will always be in favor of the visual art form displayed within the costumes.
An artist friend of mine at Junkanoo, Anthony Gibson, said to a group of artists and myself that the art we do is different from Junkanoo, and we all were saying no. The only difference may be scale and what you draw on. Taking up that challenge, we decided to go to the shack.
Now the builders, of course, KA was at the core, right? And then we got, and of course, Jackson and Bubbles, and Bappy, and and Gippy, right? The Sea Dogs, and we just had some brilliant builders who just rallied to the occasion.
One family has had some phenomenally talented builders, old and new, and as with all Junkanoo groups, they follow some sort of process to conceptualize and construct a costume from the ground up.
Whatever the idea is, 1 person, 2 people, 5 people come with the idea. Then how best to represent that? Sometimes you come with sketch, sometimes you come with photographs, but for me, even with the photograph, I'd like to draw the idea out first.
The next most crucial step is drawing out the costume and bringing it to life. One shack in particular placed special emphasis on this. Led by the head builder, Trevor Bubbles DaCosta, the Six-Pack Shack on the Fort Hill worked diligently to revolutionize Junkanoo through innovation and a dedication to excellence.
You couldn't come around the shack playing, and you had to know what was going on or how to do certain things around the shack. If you didn't know how to do certain things around the shack and you wasn't contributing, you couldn't be around the shack. That's what I remember.
Any night, anytime they want to line up, let's go. Let me tell you something. Jabroni group. Thank you. This is not a Jabroni group, and it's an adult group. We may not have no icons in our group, but we get enough people inside this group who have little special talents. And when we mesh them together, hello, the pot boiling over.
When I was retired, and I look at my brother, and he was working so hard in the shack. He was doing everything, building, drawing, designing, I mean everything. And when me and him hook up, it took off. It was no stopping us now, because to me, we was the best 1-2 punch in Junkanoo.
There was, and still is, an iconic feature that marks one family's costume and designing on Bay Street.
We didn't never do no big patch of colors, you know. We do lines in a line and
clarity, the ability to add detail when it's needed, and then edit some of the lines to simplify some of the patterns when needed.
that was our real statement on Bay Street, lines and colors. You understand? I mean, something to look at.
Bubbles was before his time. Bubbles was good. He was good.
This guy was so deep, I mean, when it comes to putting the costumes together, it's not just a matter of putting drawings on paper. He would do that research and go deep, and I remember a costume he bought with angels. And someone walked inside the shack and they saw this angel with these 6 wings, and he was like, what kind of angel you got? It's seraphim and cherubim. He going right down to the nitty gritty. If you don't know history, you can learn it from just looking at the costumes that Bubba's bring. He had a passion for that. And like I say, he was born for that.
He is also responsible for the new method of building off-the-shoulder costumes. A design that saw the costume go from being a sometimes cumbersome single costume to a simpler modular concept centered around a frame harness with extended rods that smaller cardboard pieces fitted with PVC pipes could be slid onto and taken off as necessary.
That blew my mind. I get in the shock. Bubba say, boy, this your costume. I say, really? I say, one piece of thing over there. Piece of thing over there. I said, well, how this thing going on? Mind you, I love the idea because you could take it down and paste into small pieces and then put it all together. In the old days, the big starter costume, I mean, you had to put that in the spot, you had to go different angles, bend this way, and your back hurting and neck hurting. But with a slotted costume, you take that apart, do what you gotta do. The people who looking don't know what's going on, and like when it all comes together on that morning, you put all them stuff together. Man, that looks somehow it's amazing. It's like a metamorphosis.
If you're in a small space, when it comes to height, you can build the costume on the ground. But with the slotting, by the time you slot that onto your shoulder, you can be anywhere 14 feet when in a normal building it couldn't fit.
The frames for, let's say for a Bella costume could also fit a dancer costume.
Yeah.
That's how he had a design. He had some dimensions that if you go out of that dimensions, it won't fit. And a lot of people couldn't understand, hey, what we is doing. Because I remember plenty mornings we going down Bay Street with the bag drop off. And people thought, oh, they get leave.
Or even when you're in the shack, we used to have it heist up in the roof.
Yeah, and even
people used to be
if you're a stranger and you come in the shack, you never get to see the costume. Put up not until that last day. And that was so amazing, the people, because they went where they had these costumes. But they was right there.
Because they'll walk in the shack and say, man, they ain't getting nothing in them.
No, they ain't getting nothing inside.
In 2004, after helping the group win 2 straight parades, Trevor Bubbles DaCosta passed away, and unfortunately, a lot of great ideas left with him.
We really lost a gem when we lost Bubbles. I remember sitting on the porch with him, and he was talking about the different costumes that he would like to bring. He never brought it. That song, These Are the Days of Elijah. He said, boy, I want to build a costume with the second coming of Christ riding on this white horse in the clouds with the angels. I can just picture that right now. I say, boy, that'll blow their mind. The piece, he said, boy, I got to bring that one. And that was the last thing that we discussed costume-wise. I just went on the porch with them talking, and he never got to bring it. But that always stuck in my mind. Every time I hear a song, I think about him. I think about the possibilities that could happen with that costume.
Once a costume is built, it's time to make it pretty. Let's paint some color on. Or do you prefer spray?
When we do everything, we make sure it's 100% neat. If you take a look at our costume, it won't look like it's paste. It look like it's sprayed on. And that's why it really developed the name Spray Tan.
There's a signature color, which is in every costume we use. And there's a very, very unique artwork displayed at the back, or sometimes even at the front of our costumes. Yeah. That's a violet, more of a dark purple, slightly off. If you look in every costume we do, that is there. That is featured as part of coloring. Yeah. And definitely detailed design.
The spray name is responsible for all categories of Junkanoo in one family. We did off the shoulders, we did cowbell shakers, we did drummers, we did lead costumes, we did banner. And we carry what you call toters. Yeah. All right. Nobody told costume better than Sue straight there. The same little slim fella right there. He had more strength than Superman, more nerve. Right. But one spray name is the best team in Junkanoo. The world will tell you that.
Never seen a spray team costume?
Avatar, Dead Man's Reef. The first costume what we took was the Obia Man. That's the group to be. Everybody in the Junkanoo world respect one family spray team.
You know you've arrived when they name a corner after you.
Well, being spray team, that's some of the accolades come along with it. Howell Road, Tony Davis Highway, so the spray team have spray team lane. So, we deserve that.
Silbert Ferguson, a name synonymous with one family in Junkanoo, was the gatekeeper of the supplies, resources, and assets. In his role as the group manager, he walked in lockstep with the chairman to help bring an exciting and quality product to Bay Street.
I was tasked from 1993 as being the manager of our group. And I had a tremendous responsibility because I have worked with all of the chairmen, okay, and all of them was crazy, okay. They just said things, and the one thing we couldn't say is we can't. My job as the manager, treasurer, was to make sure that our group had sufficient supplies, whatever was needed for presentation. Darren and I had a lot of little things that were hidden from the group. We couldn't talk. We couldn't say anything. There was just one thing we never got to pull off. Okay, and if we'd ever pulled that one off, all of us might have gone to jail. Okay, but we had tremendous time with the helicopter, tremendous time with the bug, with the money bug. We had tremendous time with the fire engine.
But if we had ever get Darren to fly over Bay Street and drop down in the middle of Rawson Square, it would have been over.
No matter how pretty you are, how good you sound, or well you perform in practice, you still have to be orderly and time conscious on Bay Street, a crucial element that is often neglected.
Rory was our chief marshal from the beginning, and he was, as he has always been, he was meticulous when it comes to detail, discipline, no nonsense, ready to roll. And he organized the marshal's team, and he had everything organized. He had me do we had a handbook for marshals that laid out exactly what was expected of each marshal, and yeah, we were organized to the hilt.
And that was one of my main reasons for me a part of joining that leadership team. I know that, and I'll keep calling his name, Worry was a great marshal, and I watched how he marshaled one family over those years, and that militant type of marshalling, and that's what I said I want to do. I want to marshal. You know why? Because marshals will cause you to win or to lose. You have Zach walking up and down with his clock, and all he done is walking up and down with his clock. You know what I tell him? Go in the front of the screw. Don't come and tell them my brass they get 10 minutes. Don't do that. No. Don't trip the screw out, because technically they don't have 10 minutes. They might have 15 minutes. So what you do in the panic, you come telling them what time it is, but it's not the accurate time. So what I did is, when I decided to marshal, I wanted to help the girls on the floor of this group. I tried to get them as close to the music, because they show time. People, they don't see these dead things, what could hardly move, and ain't nobody dancing. They want to see them girls. They want to see who these girls is this morning. And that could only help when you have serious marshalling with you. You need a serious person to help them. See, because the chairman and the vice chairman can't do it. That's too much strain on them. They're managing the group to get the group to Bay Street. And now when they come to Bay Street, they still got to micromanage? No, it's too much work for them. So that's why a chief marshal and his team is very pivotal, a very serious chief marshal. You have to be vigilant to protect your members. Don't hit my member and think you can come up through there and leave peacefully. You can get mommy up. The police come down, you still get mommy up. Because when all the bottom of them see me going, they come. And you get mommy up. And that's what marshalling is all about. You have to protect your group by all means necessary. You have to protect the group.
As well as being a Junkanoo enthusiast and a builder, Bubbles was also responsible for lining the group up on Bay Street.
We could say from the pickiest, go down in the back. The nice and clean, the clean ones would have been directly in front. He would line them up accordingly. Bubbles would have bring a story in his costume in terms of line up the parade.
One morning he used to line up the group, and I think I was looking at picky or whatever, you know, because I just rush it for fun. But I wanted to rush a little closer to the front. So all my friends, them, Chrissy, Shari, Killer, all them Taylor Street boys who I used to be with around Gay Shark when I was growing up. So I see them walking into the line again, in front of the line. I go in front of the line too, you know. And he say, oh, something may look great, Joe. Something may look great. Drop back. Go back some more. Man, by the time I finished dropping back, I was a banner boy for the group behind us. I didn't feel so stink, but that's just the kind of person he was. It didn't matter that he saw me in the shack that I used to build my own man costume that was cool outside of Bay Street. When you come in this line,
gotta go to war.
Things supposed to be done a certain way. It can't be one with your feelings.
Yeah.
You gotta drop, you gotta fall in line.
Early in Junkanoo, they would, if you were picky, that's what they call it, you would go into the fire. Rather than our time, I should say, rather than throwing you in the fire, they would put you in the back of the music. Yeah. If you're picky.
I remember we bring one morning when a Tyler costume get left, a boxing day, and he bring that costume to Bay Street that New Year's. The costume was totally off from the parade, and he was trying to get it in the front. I tell my back line, open up, and I said, you just keep walking backward. You know when he reach in the back of the group, you know what he do? He fall down, he throw himself down and come with the costume and leave it in the road. I said, thank you. You're not going on my parade, not with that costume. You ain't even tried to change nothing on the costume. You get left boxing day. and you bring the same costume from a Boxing Day team to New Year's, a whole different concept. No, you have to go. And that's what we need. We need sturdy persons to manage our group on the ground.
In 2016, the leadership of One Family created a formal new post that had been overlooked in previous years. The result was a success, and it directly contributed to that Boxing Day parade win.
My first year in freelancing, we didn't really have an organized front line per se. You knew what the theme was, you went away, you figured what you was gonna do, you just show up to Bay Street. One time we went away, we went to Disney World, we went to Magic Kingdom. And when we was watching the parade, I was like, I could see this on Bay Street. Just the parade then layout front to back. Everything, you could just Google these pictures and we could just bring this parade to Bay. So that was in July, August. The next month, while it was fresh in my mind, I decided that I was going to write this theme. So I wrote the theme and I gave it to Holly and let her look over it. At that time, I was in a part of the design team. Holly was in a part of the design team. Either way, we gave it to Muffin. And Muffin presented it to the design team. And that presentation won. And I think because I wrote that theme, I think Muffin was like, try organize the front line to do these costumes so we could parade and try win. So that's how I evolved in being the frontline chairman, just by me writing the theme, and then she wanted my assistants to execute the frontline.
As the name suggests, One Family loves its members, and there was no better proof of that when the group, along with other members of the Junkanoo community, the JCNP, and even the Lodge rallied together to lend their support.
We never had intentions of doing a cookout, you know. You know, when you find out information about people, everybody asks, what can we do to help, or what have you. And so it was Muffin actually who said, let's do a cookout. And not just let's do a cookout. She wanted to manage the cookout. She wanted to do everything. I didn't ever do anything, but she would just keep me aware of the plans or what have you. So again, that's the way One Family demonstrating their love for one another.
We know we couldn't rush, but we had to do something. We had to do something. And usually we kind of don't get involved, but for Lon, we had to do something. I went and saw him and we spoke. And he was hesitant about the fundraiser, and I said, like, you know, this is our way that we could assist, so let us do that.
Yeah.
And he came back and he agreed.
Yeah.
And I was saying that I didn't think he should be out there that day, but he wanted to be out.
Yeah.
And because he was out, and I guess he got to saw firsthand for himself, the amount of persons, because people didn't just come and buy and leave. That was like the hangout for the day.
Yeah.
And then the rush at the end
was the icing on the
was
cake.
the icing on the cake for him. And it shifted his spirits. It lifted him so much. And now, you know, he's gone off. They're back, and he's doing much better.
Yeah.
He's doing much better now. And we were just happy that we could have been a part. We did our part to assist, and we're grateful to all of those organizations and other Junkanoo groups that helped make that event a success.
Junkanoo is spirit. Junkanoo is motivation. And you know, sometimes when you're down and you're sick, well, you thank God for the music. And I think him being there to see everybody just supporting him really uplift him. You know what I mean? So I feel as though it was a great motivation for him to be there and to see the support from the back line just representing.
I want to say thank you for One Family for organizing that cookout. They did a wonderful job. We had great turnout. When I came there that day, the event was already started, and when I came from Juicy Walker Corner and I turned to come down that hill, I thought One Family was practicing. I thought we were having a practice. The amount of people and cars were there. I had persons came up to me who's 60 and 70 and said they have never seen a cookout like that in this country, ever. And the love the Junkanoo world showed. Even the socks inside the crew worked along with the cookout team. It was very powerful. And Arlene came up to me and said, if you ever doubt 1 minute that you would never love the Junkanoo, you better think again. Because this year demonstrated a lot. And I felt it. I'm talking about every organization were there. And some of the persons were over in the parking lot just chilling with their food and doing their stuff. But people were there. That was like a Junkanoo practice. They came to watch and they just was chilling by one family. And it gave me goosebumps. And when that music banged in that corner, I almost lift that chair up and run in the road with that music.
Growing up around Junkanoo and the Junkanoo family, Christina Muffin Fernanda became a part of the executive team in 2014 as deputy chairman. In 2016, she and Yolanda Bain made history becoming the first female chairman and vice chairman of a Category A group, and in 2021, Christina became the first female chairman to be inducted into the Junkanoo Hall of Fame.
One of the things that one family did that a number of other senior groups did not do at that time was to give young people a leadership role.
That's
and
why
a
we
chance.
have the first female leader right now.
So
breaking down barriers and making history is not always easy, especially being a woman in a man's world.
It was a little touchy moment there with the chairman because we had a chairman by the name of Porky Dorset. He was the chairman. And when she came up to run against Porky Dorset, the first time we went into the election, they didn't want the election to run. So they say it was none at void. They say Porky win overall. But the next morning they wake up and say it was protest that Muffin was running again. And then things change. And that's how she won.
To hold those positions in a major Junkanoo group definitely speaks to growth as a woman. I think it opens a lot of doors, and I have to add Miss Arlene Nash in that equation of being a woman and growth in Junkanoo. Junkanoo is a male-populated sport, and so it speaks to where we can go as women. It speaks to what we can encounter and conquer as women, and so it definitely will open doors to many more those places we can go as women.
Being elected first chairman, along with Holly being the vice, this was the dynamic duo. No other group actually in the history of Junkanoo has been led by two females ever. Yep. And so besides having the first female chair, we've set history with having the first leadership duo on the whole being female.
Yeah.
But like
it's a big deal.
Like Holly said, you got the pushback at first, but eventually people warmed up, guys warmed up, and you just had to go in there and show them like, hey, we in charge, this is what it is, either you do or you don't. But it was all for the betterment of the group, and so far with it, I think we've been very, very successful during our tenure.
Although they made it look easy, there were some challenges they had to overcome.
Getting materials in a timely manner to assist, and all of that too was based on funding and sponsorship coming in at a certain time and all that. Then negotiating contracts. That was another challenge and stuff like that, because some people feel they worth $6 million when in actuality you only worth $2. But nonetheless, and then it had to be me being the biggity one to say, no, I ain't paying that. Or no, and that was the issue too. They want you to say yes because they say yes. And I wasn't saying yes. So, I had challenges with some of the builders, and then we ironed out some of them. And then some of them wanted, at one point, told Muffin and Fred at one point and said, y'all two could say yes, but I want her to say yes. I want her to say yes because it's her. If y'all two ain't the problem, it's her. She's the problem. So, yeah.
That was awesome. I thought Muffin has come from what the young people say, from the ground, from the bottom up. Muffin has been there. Well, her dad has been very involved, and one of the founding members actually of our group. So Muffin has always been around. But she started up with choreography, and she's moved now to the top. And not only within our group, but an example for women in the whole country as in a leadership role, and how women can make a difference, and not just in positions that they're expected to be in, but in anything.
They are all Junkanoos, not just by being a part of it. They live it, they feel it, and we all grew as a family. So for them to excel to where they are in Junkanoo as icons and as females, I tilt my hat to them.
With them two being females, I decided to stop being drum to assist them, to give them that help. Because, you know, sometimes men look at women leading them in a different aspect, especially with the mentality of one family. You know, so my duty was, you know what, I'm gonna stop being drum. Now is the time to pass that baton on and have to assist with moving the group forward. And that worked awesome. I even had 3 girls beating drum with me on Bay Street. 3 girls. KGB, Reds, and Tanel. And they loved it. They loved it. They did it with passion. And I accepted them. I didn't put them in the back. I bring them up in the front with me. And nobody understood what I was doing. But I was setting the way for women to lead in our organization.
She now has that special jacket, and a lot of people will aspire for that. Maybe a lot of men, but now at least the young girls could see that's something they could do as well.
Well, I feel it was outstanding for her to become a Hall of Famer in Junkanoo, because she did her part and she paid her dues.
All of our so-called leaders have had the philosophy that they're not kings or queens, but they are servants of one family. And that's why when one leader changes and you go to another leader, it's seamless, you know? There's never any political squabbles to speak of.
One family embodies inclusion, celebrates uniqueness and creativity, and thrives on innovation and adaptation. If you look carefully, you can mark out any occasion in Junkanoo history from 1993 and place yourself in time and space. This is the kind of foresight and commitment to excellence that the members of one family have shown over the years. Ever the educator and historian, Arlene Nash Ferguson, has captured our history and helped put our heritage on display. A heritage and history that we are proud to share with the world. And although everyone's response will be different, they are all essentially the same. But it is worth asking anyway. When you think of all the trials, failures, heartaches, and eventually breakthrough victories, what does being a warrior mean to you?
I was always a warrior at heart. I was a fighter, and the 4 places that the warriors got never bothered me. Okay, because that was the start of what was coming.
Some folks are saying, boy, I wish I was here when you started, because to really see where we came from as a group, when we was in there and trying to get this thing all, put in place and all like that, and to see that, the end product, that we, right now, we on top. I consider, one family on top, because all the other groups, man, they only be worrying about what family bring in, where family is, and these kind of stuff. So, yeah, man, I'm proud of one family, and I'm proud to know that I was there at the beginning, and continue to be there.
The ability to look back and be one of the few persons that still exist in this country who can actually say that they were a part of forming a major Junkanoo group that is very, very competitive and significant in our community.
I'm creative, I'm innovative, and I create space. I can think in a box or out of a box. I can create space, right? And that's a totally different concept, because we have always been about pushing the envelope and doing things that have never been done before. We're the only group that actually flew on Bay Street. Figure that one out.
He told his group now, you don't look for the Saxons anymore. You go looking for one family. That's the group to beat. That's pride. That's the pride I feel.
Warriors is for excellence. And once you are excellent in doing what you have to do, that's where you get your joy.
I am very proud to be a warrior, even down to my job. I have some values.
I might tell you.
Preach, some
Preach.
haters.
Preach.
When you see me put up the sign, who win what? On our worst days, we do what? Oh, teach you all.
To be a warrior, that's like strength, confidence. You know, the ability to overcome any situation, to bounce back from anything. That's what we do, warriors.
And a family that prays together
stays together.
stays together.